Liam, Friday night in Copenhagen, we didn't really deserve to get a point maybe, but there was positives to take out of the game nevertheless.
Yeah, well, the character and the courage of the players and the commitment they showed on the night, probably you would have to argue strong that they didn't deserve a point. But if you judge the game on chances created, Eamon, the Danes were way ahead of us, particularly in the second half. They had half a dozen really good chances, and with some last-ditch defending and some wasteful finishing from the Danes, gave us a chance to equalise that the lead they had in the last few minutes. So it was a performance we've seen many times before from an Irish team. It's that the character manages to get you the result. Yeah, but it wasn't great to see our midfield play. We gave the ball away time and time again. And reading the papers this morning, Mick McCarthy saying, that's an area we really have to improve on, because a lot of the chances came from sloppy passing from the Irish team, and we never really created, apart from McLean's shot at the near post, which Michael saved. We never really created anything from playing through midfield. So that's something that has to be worked on. But he's given the team a really good platform to have a real good chance of qualifying from this group.
Yeah, John, Mick McCarthy's regime now, 3 games into this campaign, 3 competitive games. I think he's done well. It's refreshing. He is handicapped by the unavailability of people like Wes Houlihan, Shane Long injured for the games in this cycle. Also, Harry Arthur would be. David Myler appears to have, Harry Arthur doesn't really want to play. So he is really struggling for players. He's had to bring Glenn Whelan back at the age of 35, who hasn't got a club now. He's just been released by Aston Villa. Overall, I think he's done well.
Yeah, I think he's done well. I think what I would agree with Liam, Denmark definitely had the better chances.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But what was refreshing, and what wasn't mentioned too much, is that the approach by Mick. We played out a couple of years ago. Do you remember in the competitive match?
Yeah.
And we stayed in our own box for the 90 minutes. It was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
So I think Mick, what I think he is doing is encouraging them to play when they have a chance to play. Don't have the players really, but his approach was better. Even in the last minute of the game, we probably had our best chance, as Liam mentioned there, when McLean had a shot on the near post. We didn't see that with Martin O'Neill.
No.
Ever. At least we were trying to do it. We didn't have the players to do it. We were giving the ball away, but we were trying to do it. So I think that's a big start. And to get the draw was a great result in the end. There's no doubt, because Denmark were the better team and have the better players. But I liked Mick's approach to it. At least when we were on the ball, he was hoping and I think encouraging to be positive on the ball, not just kicking it away as we've done in previous matches under Martin O'Neill.
Yeah,
so
now
that's an encouragement.
Absolutely,
now, whether they can improve on it, get the better players in, maybe O'Dowd and 1 or 2 other players in. Certainly up front we're weak, and his hands are tied a lot. But to be fair to him, he had a go when we had a chance to have a go.
Yeah, and Liam said there, we've seen many performances like this away to Italy when Liam was in the dugout with Trapattoni. We've seen lots of games where Ireland have dug in and defended with great discipline, resilience and courage. And we saw that again the other night. Shane Duffy in particular, but Darren Randolph, the goalkeeper as well, made a great save in the second half, a very important save. And Duffy was magnificent all the way through. Coleman and this lad, Enda Stevens, who's come in at left back. They were heroic, I thought.
But what the point I'm making here is, I don't think we've seen that recently under Martin O'Neill.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Martin O'Neill go now, it was like defend till the end, like especially in Denmark Cup in the competitive match, we're sitting in our own box and giving they're kicking it out of play. What I'm saying is, at least under Mick, they tried to do it. At least we tried to play, and of course the resilience was there, as we've had with the Irish team over many numbers of years. But I was encouraged by that. I mean, they were in possession of the ball quite a bit. Didn't make the most of it, obviously, so therefore it's not good. But at least I think he's encouraged them to try and do it. Anyway, I think that's a help.
Yeah, Liam, did you detect that? The players look more comfortable. They look more willing to be relaxed and pass the ball rather than resort immediately to route one.
No, 100% I agree with John. Yeah, the approach was much better. We were getting people into the box, when we attacked. We were trying to interpass, down the right-hand side. Both full-backs, Stevens and Coleman, have been encouraged to get forward. Stevens, I think, has done well. He's, much better on the ball than Ward. I thought just in the second half, when the Danes began to get on top, our defence dropped back, another 10, 15, 20 yards. Yeah. And it gave space in midfield, and they used it. Hendrick, Whelan, and Horahan were struggling to get close and deny space to the Danish players. And that was a real problem. But there's stuff there for Mick McCarthy to work on. I'm just wondering, Eamon, can he find a place for Matt Doherty in the middle of the park? If you see Matt Doherty playing for Wolves, he's so comfortable on the ball, and he gets a lot of the ball the way Wolves play, because they really do try and play football. And he's up and down that right hand side. He's got pace, he's got strength. He's a big lad. I'm just wondering now, in a game like tonight, would it not be better to throw a Matt Doherty into where Glenn Whelan plays and say, okay, don't just sit in front of the back four. Go and play. Don't play with the others, and give him a chance to see if he could develop into that midfield player. I think we have to find somebody who can play a bit better in midfield, because as much as Mick wants to approach it a lot better, Hendrick doesn't really want responsibility to get on the ball. Whelan doesn't want responsibility to get on the ball. And then we've got Brady out of sorts. McLean is not a player who can put his foot on the ball. McLean is a strong lad who runs up and down. So Mick has to find the solution from somewhere. And if it might be that Doherty could be the man,
Yeah, well,
there's no one else on the horizon, I don't think, Eamon.
I agree with you, and I asked the same question of John while we were waiting to talk to you. I think Doherty also gets a goal. He got 5, 6, 7 goals for Wolves last year. I asked the same question of John, but and I'm going to ask him again. John, I agree with Liam, but you don't.
Well, I don't disagree with you, Eamon. He did play Liam in midfield against Gibraltar, and he didn't get a kick of the ball.
Yeah, I know. And
the wind. No, it was a bad day. But you see, this is my take on it. When you're playing it right back, as he does, in the wing back, Eamon,
yeah,
you're free to go and do. People create for you in that position.
Yeah.
And you're running forwards, which he does particularly well. When he's playing in midfield, now he has to get a position to free other people. I wouldn't mind seeing him tried in the middle field. To be quite honest, he's not going to do any worse than Glenn Whelan.
No.
But I'm not so sure. It's a different position. It's totally different, Eamon, because at the right back position, only the wing backs, they're up and down the line, but somebody has to free them to get in that position, and he is good at doing it, right? I'm not so sure. Looking at him, I know it was a bad day in Gibraltar, but he never actually got a kick of the ball at all.
I mean, it was now hold on, the wind was gale force.
I know.
It was a crazy day. No one could get a hold of the ball. Nobody. And
It was an artificial pitch as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it wasn't ideal for him. Don't get me wrong.
There's a great chance to give him a go. This evening, and see if he could do it. Because quite frankly, you're going to beat these anyway, John.
Liam, I've no problem with that. He's not going to do any worse than Glenn Whelan. I've no problem with that. Eamon, you know what I mean? We've got to see if he can do it or not.
I can't see any reason. Can you, Liam, why he couldn't slot into the middle of midfield, into the role that Whelan plays.
Well, I was going to say to John, if John had a gifted player like Doherty is, he's got a really good all-round game. He's strong in the tackle. He can score goals, as you mentioned. He's a big lad. He's got pace, but he's also very good in the ball. And if John was manager and he had a player, he'd find a place for him. He used to do with Paddy Mulligan. I know we're going a long time back. Paddy could play several positions. And I think tonight would be an ideal game for him to say to Glenn Whelan, you have a rest. Doherty, go in there and play. But don't sit in front of the back four. Push up and play and get involved in the game. And let's see what he can do. Because quite frankly, you're going to beat them. You're going to beat them anyway. I expect us to win by at least 3 tonight,
I'd have no problem with that, Liam. When it was first mentioned, I would have played him at left back, but this lad Stevens has done well. I've seen him play left back actually for Wolves. I would agree with that. Give him a chance in that position. I was going a little bit probably too much on the Gibraltar match where he didn't get. He was totally lost in the middle of the field.
But everybody that night, John, you could not get hold of the
I know
football.
the pitch was bad, Eamon, but some of the
positions, wind was crazy.
Apart from the wind, the positions he was taking up in the game.
Well, when I put it to you before we talked to Liam, you poo-pooed it. You wouldn't have it any. Now Liam puts it to you, reminding you of when you were manager, and now you're saying, yeah, I wouldn't mind. What's going on here?
I didn't think of him playing in that position. He did play in Gibraltar on the right-hand side of midfield. He was in the midfield.
Liam has made a very good suggestion, which I totally agree with.
I'm not disagreeing with it now. I'm not disagreeing. What you're saying is something I said to me before, because I didn't even think about him playing in the middle of the field.
Wow.
I was thinking of playing on the right-hand side of midfield. So I'm not against you or Liam in it. I didn't think of him playing in the middle, particularly in a match like this tonight where he should play well. And he can't do, in my opinion, he couldn't do any worse than Glenn Whelan in that position. Yes, have a look at him. No doubt about that. Whether he can do it or not remains to be seen.
Okay.
But certainly, I'm going into the Gibraltar match. I know the pitch was bad. I know the conditions were bad. But he did nothing, actually. I mean, he didn't look like getting the ball, Eamon, to do it. That's what I'm saying. He was totally lost in that particular match.
Now
it is making a position. He is playing in a strange position, I'll give you that. I would love to see him in the team because he deserves to be what he does at Wolves. But what he's doing at Wolves and is asked to do in the Irish team, 2 different things altogether.
Right.
But certainly I would not disagree with Liam's idea of playing him tonight in the Gibraltar match.
There we go, Liam. And I agree with that. So that's that put to bed. Thanks for intervening, Liam. Now, I want to ask both. He wouldn't have it when I go.
We didn't discuss it upstairs in the way that we did. No. You did not suggest to me upstairs that we could play against Gibraltar and he could play in the middle of the field.
That's what I was thinking. But I didn't.
But you didn't actually say it. Now, if you'd have said that to me, I could say, yeah,
okay.
That's it. But don't start having a go at me because Liam has said it.
All right.
And I didn't agree with what you didn't say.
Okay, I want to talk to both of you about Shane Duffy, who I think he's a brilliant lad. He's a great pro. He's got a very big heart, and he's a real good defender, Liam, isn't he? And then the goal he scored, the equaliser, the ball, it was a lovely ball in from Alan Judge, but still you have to avoid fouling the defender, giving a referee an excuse, and he did that really well, great determination. But some of his defending was outstanding. He's a player, Liam, he's playing for Brighton. I think he could play at a higher level than Brighton, and he's a real good lad, isn't he?
Yeah, and English football defenders like that are needed badly.
Yeah,
you've seen Arsenal struggle so much in defence. When they come under pressure with crosses and longer balls and things like that, they just can't handle it. He laps it up.
Yeah,
he's a bit like Tony Adams, Eamon.
Yeah,
I think Shane. Probably the weakness in Shane's game is if he's got. If the forwards have got a lot of space up against them, taking him on and things like that. But he made a really good intervention on Eriksson there on the edge of the box.
Yeah,
I thought Eriksson had done him, but he stuck his left leg out and just managed to toe poke the ball away from him. So he's coming all the time. He's learning all the time. I thought his passing was better from the back. He hit some really good diagonal balls. And I think with Mick as manager, he'll be encouraging him to play a bit more from the back than, let's say, Martin O'Neill did.
Yes.
I think he's got great strength of character as well. And there's no better man if you're under siege, as we saw in many games last year. I think Wales comes to mind when we won that match with the McLean goal. Duffy is tremendous in those kind of situations. He laps it up. And at the moment, it's a pity to say, but we have to say he's probably our best chance of scoring a goal.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's very good
against the better teams. Against the better teams. The better chance.
Of course, yeah.
He gives us our best chance of scoring a goal against the better teams.
Yeah, he's a good leader as well, John, isn't he? I mean, you need guys like that, and there's no shame in saying that he is our best opportunity of scoring a goal at the moment, because none of the forwards we have in the side, without Shane Long being there, have scored at all.
No. Oh, no, he's what you would regard now, Eamon, I think among ourselves, as you, Liam, and an old-fashioned centre-half.
Yeah.
He's a good defender. He wins it in the air.
Yeah.
Not fancy, doesn't have to be fancy. Like when you're playing defend the way he is, you win it and you give it to somebody that's close to you.
Yeah.
That's the main job. Unfortunately, we see it now in lots of games where they're playing out from the back and all the various things overdone, and he's not like that. He's not going to get on the ball and be fancy and good on the ball. He's an old-fashioned centre-half who defends well. He goes and wins it in the air, and the bonus with him is that he can get your goal when you need a goal up at the top. He really goes for the ball in a determined way. So he's a very, very good asset for us, for any team really, but particularly for us, where we don't have as many players as some of the Premier League teams have.
I think he's improving. He's improving all the time, Eamon.
He is, yeah.
Season by season, we've seen really strong improvement in his game. I think he was a bit rash before. He's less so now. He's better coming out with the ball at the back. He's better at set pieces. The lad is really developing well into a really top-class defender.
Yeah, and another player we should really mention, John, is the goalkeeper, Darren Randolph. Not just the other night, he made a great save in Gibraltar when we could have been really buried. Yeah. He's a terrific goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Eamon, and he's again, I think goalkeepers and centre halves actually improve with age if they're made of the right stuff.
Yeah,
and he's done that. Yeah. Where was he at West Ham? They let him go.
Yeah,
didn't they?
He did. Yeah,
I'm not sure the goalkeeper they brought is any better than him, and certainly in the way that he's played.
Joe Hart was the goalkeeper they bought. Well, he wasn't better than him.
But no, he's really done this stuff. Seems a good lad. Like you can tell what lads, a good attitude, good approach. Duffy's the same. Good few of the Irish lads are like that. Approach is good lads. But he's made the vital saves for us. Even the other day, he had to make a couple of good ones. He's a good goalkeeper. Doesn't get carried away with anything.
No,
doesn't seem to get too excited. His head is nice and cool and clear. And he's been a big asset for us. There's no doubt.
Okay.